The 4,220-kilometer-long Mekong River originates in the Tibetan highlands. Its delta is 40,000 square kilometers. In rainy season, the river can't transport the huge amount of water which swells Lake Tonle Sap in Cambodia. On more than a fourth of the delta region, there's intensive rice cultivation, but fishing is also important. Fishermen, farmers, and craftsmen live in the villages standing on poles. There are 1-, 2-, or 3-day trips organized to visit these villages. The activities and prices of the bus trips from Ho Chi Minh City are very similar. An entry in a guidebook says, Bao Dien channels can be reached after a 2-hour journey. From here, we can reach the city Mai To by boat. Mai To is a typical water city with inhabitants traveling by boat and with houses standing on poles in the water. There's always a 1-hour free program here at the market where everybody can go shopping. Surprisingly, the sellers sell their goods at sensible prices. From here, the group goes on by boat to visit the 4 islands, the islands of Turtle, Dragon, Unicorn, and Phoenix. Lunch is usually eaten on the island of Turtle. We can see everywhere that huge eyes are painted on the bow of the boats. Legend has it that they're painted to frighten away the water monsters. Seeing the huge eyes, the wicked water monsters believe that they've met an even bigger monster, so they run away. Instead of asphalt, there's water. Instead of cars, there are boats. The world of the channels is really special. The coasts are populated by huts built on poles, the bamboo framework of which is covered by rush. The roofs are made of palm leaves, but they use tin as well. Narrow wooden planks lying on pails are used as sidewalks. Through the openings, we can see inside the huts, so the people of the huts live their lives under the public eye. Craftsmen also live here, and some of them live on raffia spinning, making rush, baskets, and hats. The men's main activity is fishing, and many of them are involved in trade and transportation of goods. The channels have their own market, as every settlement does, because the goods for everyday life need to be bought somewhere. At the floating market, the boats are the stalls. On all boats, there's a stick rising up to the sky where the goods to be sold are hung. You can buy food, vegetables, fruit, lamps, matches, pots and pans, even clothes. The barges are sometimes so packed that it's a wonder they don't sink under the weight of melons, cabbages, or pineapples. The rowers and riders weave in and out with fantastic mastery in the chaos without any traffic rules. Fishermen move the fresh catch from their boat to a smaller one, and they start down the channels on them. Of course, there are wholesale purchasers, but housewives can't resist the goods still alive. Not only fish are caught in the nets, but also mussels, crabs, and other seafood, which they chop up with scissors, roast, and eat. In the small refectories set up on boats or in palm huts, we can try these extraordinary dishes. Asian people peel pineapples with their huge knives amazingly fast and skillfully. There are few more delicious delicacies than fresh pineapples. The boats groan with piles of the fresh spiny fruits and coconuts. Small factories making rice paper have been set up on the coast because this technology needs a lot of water. The rice paper made in a traditional way is the basic material of not only lamps and lampshades, but it's also used at the press. It's sold in hobby shops all over the world and is used in many ways. Of course, the demand of wholesalers is satisfied by bigger factories. This manufacture shows tourists the process of production. Travel agencies try to show all the sights of the region, for example an apiary, crocodile farm, or a small factory making sugar. Between the attractions, we can travel by boat. Coconut candies have been Vietnamese children's big favorite for a long time. They're sold at every market and are made by hand even today with fantastic mastery. The candies are chopped and then wrapped into rice paper, but so fast that we can hardly follow with our eyes. The disorderly network of natural and artificial channels with fishermen and traders living on their coasts is an exotic sight of Thailand and Vietnam. It has fascinated the likes of Somerset Maugham, Joseph Conrad, Rudyard Kipling, James Clough, and Graham Greene. The world of the channels has hardly changed for centuries. It's a sign of modernization that some of the boats are driven not by paddles, but engines which are put at the end of a long stick, so it's also used as a rudder, and they're lifted out of the water in neutral gear. They're filled up at floating petrol stations, which is not an everyday sight. There's no electricity in most huts on poles, but we can hear music coming from battery-operated cassette recorders. Clean drinking water is carried in huge balloons by boats because the water of the channels is not fit for drinking, especially since motorboats are used. Let's see how the geographer Janusz Kubaszek saw the world of the floating market. On the winding channels flanked by palm trees, there's hardly any free surface. Boatmen turn their paddles with magic skills, and they never crash. We can meet floating kitchens as well. In some flatboats, fish and crabs are roasted on live coals. Rice and soup are cooked on a tiny iron cooker. They're handed on plates to the customer, who sits on a boat and also offers something to buy. The colorful sight of sellers all over wearing colorful clothes, broad-brimmed cone-shaped raffia hats sitting on their boats, loaded with fruit and vegetables, remains an unforgettable experience forever.